The big picture, again, the storm is still sitting off of Baja California, Mexico. It's a cutoff low, so it's not attached to the jet stream, so it's just meandering there. For now, you get a big dip in the trough to the north. That's going to help to lift it out of here. The question is, do they merge? Do they not? How long does this happen? Regardless, think of some warm air because it's coming from basically a warmer source and warmer moisture that gets fed up as the storm moves to the east. Then you tap into the moisture coming in off the Gulf. Also a mild, warm source of moisture. Tapping into some very cold air coming in from this Arctic high, and Bane, we are in business for snow on the northern side of this. Huge area likely to be dealing with ice, and then on the southern side of that, some rain. Yeah,
and the thing is, when we talk about the snow impact, we'll jump on the ice train in just a second, but the snow, I mean, we could see a ton. I mean, also on top of this, the air temperature is so cold that we could end up seeing these snow ratios really being bumped up. Because when we talk about snow ratios, usually on average we see for every 1 inch of liquid, you see 10 inches of snow. That's average. Usually when those temperatures are right around freezing, these are going to be way below freezing. So that ratio goes way up. So you can see more of that powdery snow, but it also accumulates a lot more. So, I mean, areas in Kentucky and into Tennessee could be seeing close to a foot of snow in some spots.
Yeah, you'll notice we'll need it over the Rockies and the Southwest as well. This area here over portions of the Mid-Atlantic dealing with it. Let's get to the setup because we want to talk about what's going on with that area of high pressure, a couple of them. So that first one dives in from the north. Cold air starts to sag in. We already have extreme cold watches in place right across the south and to the north. But having said that, that sets the scene for this moisture to dive into that cold air, nose over it, to your point, and then we've got the ice and the snow concerns. Second area of high pressure builds in, reinforces that shot of cold air, comes Saturday and into Sunday. The other high pressure has now moved over into portions just near the New England area. That could potentially add to cold air damming, which would be a concern for more in the way of ice and snow on the other side of the Appalachians. So there's a couple of things that are in question with this forecast, but it's been an interesting one. Behind it, cold air regardless. But look at the ice potential.
And looking at that, that's over ½ an inch of ice in some spots that we're forecasting. Of course, the forecast will be adjusted as we continue to get closer, but this is concerning to look at. So please take this seriously. Be careful out there the next couple of days. And again, those power outages, those are going to be possible as well. And as we slide into the southern and central plains, talking about that significant ice building up across Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, while snow falls across parts of Oklahoma, Tennessee, and into Kentucky. So let's break down what's going on into the south. What you're looking at right now is Dallas. Currently, the temperature there, if you notice, 52 degrees right now. That's not going to last very long. By the time we get into Friday,
drop like a rock.
Exactly. It cools down so quick, hence why we do have those winter weather alerts already in place. We're going to have that winter storm watch in place starting on Friday night and continuing into Saturday. Craig, you made a good point about this, though, too, because we do have those cold weather advisories and alerts that are also in the same spots, too.
Yeah, so what you'll notice if you look at National Weather Service site, you'll see the winter storm watch in place, significant. But due to the cold air that's going to be in place all the way down to Texas and portions of the plains, that is significant. When you talk extreme cold watch, it's about timing before that turns to extreme cold warning. That is the National Weather Service saying, pay attention. This is life-threatening. This is extreme. I don't know how else to say it other than please, please listen up. It's going to be cold, and that's going to play into what we deal with the wintry mix.
Exactly. And on top of this, too, I mean, with the cold temperatures, we mentioned it earlier, those snow ratios, they really get bumped up. So, I mean, we could see a decent amount of snow in Oklahoma. I'm talking close to a foot of snow in some spots. And, I mean, this continues into Tennessee as well as into Kentucky. But here is the most dangerous precipitation type, which is ice. And this is going to be very impactful in the parts of Texas, as well as in Louisiana, Arkansas, areas far south that do see ice storms. But, I mean, we are talking over ½ an inch of ice possible in some of these spots here, Craig. That not only is going to be just detrimental to the roadways, trying to get in and out of airports, but also going to be weighing down those power lines, too.
I'll tell you what, just getting into your supermarket, getting to your neighbor's house down the street is going to be tough. And if you've got any type of hill or elevation, forget about it. Ice is the equalizer. You just can't drive through this type of setup. Making sure that your car's gassed up right now, making sure you have your medications, your food. Just be prepared. It's part of the conversation. We want to make sure that you are listening up right now so that you don't get caught off guard come Friday with everybody else who missed out on the forecast. It's interesting. Friday afternoon, you make it to the 40s in Dallas, and watch how quickly the change happens overnight. There is the cold air in place right at the surface.
And as soon as we get that switch up, that's when the rain turns into the wintry mix, and we start to see, or excuse me, that rain kind of freezing on impact, that freezing rain potential. And again, this is going to last for a decent amount of time, pretty much all day on Saturday. And we could see, again, over half an inch of ice in some spots.